살랑알라 plan complain 그러네.
Yeah, you 말해.
컴바도 차서 뭐라 차서 베이티볼 참참나 뭐 끼치노 그래.
Are those windows the same as they were when they fixed them, or did they need a little more over?
They're a little more open. I can
Just whatever you did yesterday. There's no rainbow light right now. I just don't know what happened on the sun nose. Is that about what they were yesterday?
They were a little more.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's all.
No,
No, 다양 뭐
Nope.
녹송.
you pulled too far.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're too far.
So that means that
Too far. You go back a little bit.
No. Keep going.
No, go back.
oh, I see.
Huh.
No. Don't also. No, timar.
I'm not quite sure what it was.
No, ti korangdo 그래.
There's some.
Yeah.
Right there?
You
Yes.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some way that they.
No, that way. Some ways. What do you mean? Today it doesn't have happy
Is that
face
okay?
here.
Oh, no happy face.
Yeah. Hi. I want to show Sangha how happy I am today.
Is that okay for you, Mom?
Yes.
Lugur tot gariatang sawan bariatang tenindi kak non pe kambochane.
So we'll start with the prayers before teachings.
Oi hojin yuke navchan pama kesar dombo la yamzan jogan udani nikamizlan pama joni jisu tan gordan gando mampu kor keki jisu dade ki chenye la chaso Guru Pama Sada Hong Yuke Navchan Pama Kesar Dombola Yanzan Jogai Mudani Pama Juni Jesuito Gorga Mano Mambo Kor Keki Jizai Dadeji Dear Lajer Jaso Guru Pama Zata Hoye Yurke Navchan Pama Kesar Dombola Yamzan Jokai Mudani Pama Joni Jisu Tan Golden Kando Mambo Keki Jisu Dadaki Chenye Lache Shakso Guru Pama Zeta Hoye Yuke Navchan Pama Kesa Dombo La Yamzan Jogan Muduni Pama Joni Jisu Tan Gordan Kando Mampu Keki Jisu Dadaki Chenye Lache Chaso Guru Pama Sada Hong Sado Homa Homa Nangoro Pama Sado Homa Homa Nangoro Pama Homa Homa Nangoro Pama Sado Hong Chang Sala Watan Cho Chang Chang Pa Tang Jiso Yeran Korjan Soa Ye Gewa Chonzai Daki Chosaba Namche Daki Yanchu Chengo Saji Vuchu Chukong Meto Chan Lang Nirde Yamba De Sangye Janto Mite Borwa Yin Dokon Namdo Jangla Jopar Cho Etam Guru Rana Mantra Konar Yataya Me Semje Namgi Sambata Jeta Jeta Mar Jejong Tamon Tabai Chugin Gorlo Gordo Sol Du Sumazang Tam Jiging or Ritan Kuru Jamsu Kapda Cotton Sonda Mam Chibar Jepton Wangun Sai Lama Rumbo Chi Japke Palmoder Mechan Tamadan Tarvala Gosum Kuba Jembu Goni Shan Sarjan Japsu Neveran Chio Shingi La Paranzato Sol Kang Jal Zantavi Mangum Kesar Zumbi Dan Trajan San Huizem Jozo de Salvi Rokonomic de Saranger Tukji Dama Kuni Kuran Jitan Somji Konka Pe Toran Pama Karpu Japet Teran Dalu Pansor Kyong Orgin Solan Pami Don Poro Galvinam Tram Jin Hunki Trip Santang Webshade Yondan Sombarwe Pamam Joni Nyanga Pamoiro Gombolo Duaria de Watan Tome Yin Jolan Chuji Ta Chuchon Che Hua Jilazo Zamlan Yancho Namla Gushan Sal Omen Chujian Jipo Chanto Tusum Sanji Kunjing O Nidan Sum Chukung on Sum Tunzap Sai Lami Javla Solwa and the Tosum Dungara Chinda Chekin Ken Yasome Honjivara Gilas Samchen Don Donyato Datona Tamba Namji Nunto Salto Sol Oh yeah,
There, right there.
Okay.
No, I think actually it's you.
Oh, well, that's something.
I just don't understand because yesterday it was fine.
Maybe
So
there
there,
was a cloud.
no, there wasn't. It was totally sunny. It was the way you said it. See the edges? I think they need to go right where the sun is. The edges on the left.
Okay.
Nope, pulling towards you. Pull towards you.
Yeah, the Chang Manta song, music song, the Yong song. Manta too much.
No.
More than talking about the cars here, the chicken in Tagram or Garcia. Tandic song.
No, that's me, Jay.
Oh,
I'm trying to think. Okay, so is it right? Is it right here?
no.
Here?
No,
Here.
no, Taron.
Right there?
Tela.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far yesterday.
There only is 2 doors. I don't think.
No, Rocha Manta song, Garcia. Roya Manta song, Tadanga Man, Yapo Yong song, the Anthony Pando song.
When?
The Jima Day.
Jema?
Ya Mando, that's it. Teddy Mango Mando. Yeah, Tabja.
See, I wasn't able to use it.
Karen.
The last 2 doors only is the first 2 doors.
Dixon, that. Don't
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Is there any crack?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Success.
Cheers. 뭐야 되니 맞죠 대랑 담반이 그래서 밥지 샤피카브레 디카블라네 다 우리가 강식 좀나 연자 되니 땅은 마음보 쉐딘 대도 탐치 그탑 탐치 결혼 소라 요리 개와 강식 좀나요 대라네 되니 토마 대비조라 샘께 담바 그 전국 요래 대비진도 ni patelane nguji hungme tamba ke zin jima telane jikmo wa tamba ke zin te ta utani tamba namsim ki zin bi gewa yin ni zontene gewa punsum sokpa gewa lana me pa gewa mchok to kelpa chik tani te ta zarmik ki gewa onde ta uchila tani tarwa topa tartupi 샹칩 토피 준이 뜻도위 개와치라 척요래 개와테 척 머척데 그런 거 가려 듭마듭데 말에 조고 코랑 탑기즌 맞을때 조고 때래 딥셔나는 당오 개와테 강인나요 개와테 탑기즌 버시 버jo라 샘께 담바 제 잠바 강그즈나요 개와 샹칩 침보 개와 강점나네 개와 정오 샹칩 그 탑선로와 샹칩 그 유르기르 개와 징로만도 대 샹칩 그 샘께 그전 맞은 텔라락리오레 모티브셔나는 tani 대 가수 두 딱도 보디 쳇다 제 샹칩 샘 제히오파테 당모테 메트 모노마치 테레 대는 니파테 누지 밍메 담바제 대 관나 추년 신베니 kapyenayo 대니 다강 드럼나 냠는 피크요비 kaptela 가투 옛나요 그 관나 지금 니루기형 딱 비슷하와 ngaktawa tawo zoksin toyon kanga kansak tang tani 옛나네 릭톡란동니는 게어 강 돈나 가리 드럼나 릭톡란동니 돈나 테마토 como gohyo mara 대진도 돈이 그따와 할 수다 그나라 샤디오 파남진 요나 오더니 테스타우더니 돈완이 그 돈도 히럽 그 잔진도 냠는 시고 그 요래 대만나요 다 타나 게마다 물음다고인 사면다고 즉 원들이 공부고니 더니 게와트 듬고 그 요래 더 더니 게와테 덴축든 준비 고다네 강석 티겔라는 추탐십 덴축든 좀봐 탐셋 덴버 마트 팔라 덴버 좀봐 딱바메 팔라 딱바임바 오더니 그 전니 송나 대 게와트 실 게와 레테는 원장더니 게와 양 딱바치 치히요 마르 로비존 돈든 미나라 캐란투 땅히요 그래 대니 뚝땅디 비지팡 제케지와 테테리 teni dentro tanzana tuk tang di bizita wore zi rete wanjang tina chon yo rezivi tonde tipshena denmet tok pi hirab yo nana teni te tuk me pi khala ta wo chik chalevi yaku de chare teni jila ngwa ta ba seni no semchen tamchit sangi ko ma to ba shawi chetona te ngwa ta mulum she ya te nga su te o tena teni gewa te ta gewa chiksak sonaya muzatpa koni kontum perashipi geware devjintonu gewate kanta tarang drup sonwate ne shanchu komha topi tapni to gir sonware gewate la girwatang 페리 연던 니단 그 개와 약포치 뭐히 나제 그래 뭐 와텔라 겨와타나 아 페리 연던 니카탄 단 단다요레 개와 직접나 마보 페르와 페드로와타나 대니 동때 개와테 아 타르트 빔디우 토퍼셰피 탑소 get노와테 어테디 시니나 테 담바 남섬 제아테 데레더니 다 탈름 드로피 지바 남섬 연송 롱처럼 그 등아 좀 맷덤으로와 흔들 니경 가르침부 나박섬데 덕섬 연세 개와 강점나 대소 장고 그래 드니 대 장소 잠지게
Today, Rinpoche said we're continuing with the 4 applications of mindfulness. And in general, it's important to remember that when we do anything positive or virtuous, whatever it is that we practice or engage in, then as I have taught to you on now numerous occasions, that it is always enveloped within the method of the 3 excellent principles of practice, which means in the beginning, before we start that action or practice, that activity of virtue, of cultivating what's positive, that we have the excellent beginning, the generation of bodhicitta. And then during the actual act, the main part that is embraced by the excellent main part, which is non-referential. And the conclusion is the excellent conclusion, the dedication of merit and aspirations. These 3 excellent principles of practice make whatever we do the fullest extent of what it could be, unsurpassed, perfect, supreme, the best possible outcome. Because then it's referred to as undefiling virtue, meaning virtue that is not going to simply perpetuate our ordinary experience, but is the support and springboard that moves us toward the ultimate aim of total purification and realization, the state of awakening, the attainment of bodhi, enlightenment. And the most important factors that determine that our positive action will propel us towards that outcome is that these 3 excellencies, these 3 excellent principles are present. And that is why we always emphasize them and why I have spoken on them now on so many occasions. The first of these is this first skillful method. The first excellent principle is the cultivation of bodhicitta, our motivation, so that prior to whatever positive action practice that we do, that we first fully develop this intention to attain awakening for the benefit of beings. This first method is what sort of aims our current positive action at the target. It's what directs it in that direction. When we have bodhicitta, then that will culminate in bodhi. When we generate this awakened intention, it leads us to awakening. Without it, there is no way. With it, it's what makes what we're doing become it. And so it is indispensable at the outset to always take the time to cultivate the motivation of bodhicitta, and that is our excellent beginning. Then our excellent main part, which is non-referential, is that whatever we're practicing, regardless of the technique, that we bring to it that authentic view, the view that corresponds with true nature. And if we're of the level of being able to recognize in the context of Dzogchen, great completion, recognize awareness and simply rest in non-dual awareness whilst we engage in that action or practice, then that's all there is to be done. If we're not at that level, then the next possibility is if we've had a thorough understanding of emptiness, we have the view that knows that all phenomena are empty by nature, a certainty, a confidence in that, such as we may have gained from the Heart Sutra, the paramita of emptiness. Then we would remember, we would recall as we engage in that action, its empty nature. So as we're practicing from time to time, we would bring that recollection to the practice. Or if we're not yet having that level of certainty, then at the least we can think it's like a dream. It's like an illusion, so that we don't continue to reify and to grasp on ourselves as the actor and whatever kind of action and interaction is taking place, person, place, or thing, the whole process of the virtuous action or practice, that we don't believe that it's true, that it's truly existing and real, that we don't continue to perpetuate this false perception about it, that we at least are able to acknowledge in the midst of it that it lacks the inherent truth with which our mind invests in it. It isn't truly that. It isn't truly existing. Because otherwise, we have the habit to think whatever we're perceiving and engaging, this is true. And then it feels very solid and real. And we think it's permanent, as in it's the same moment to moment. And then we're practicing with all these misguided, confused perceptions that don't actually correspond to the way things are. And so then we're sort of perpetuating a much more ordinary form of mundane virtue. And so we want to remember some degree of that wisdom insight and incorporate it into the main practice, to sort of envelope the main practice in that view. And so when we look, for example, in the mind training, 7 key points of mind training, it says blending good food with poison in a pot. And so then if we're investigating it, if we're investing it in being inherently true and existent, even though the food itself may in and of itself have been nutritious, like when mixed with poison, then there's some detriment. And so similarly, then if we continue to persist in investing truth and existence and identity very strongly with that, then it still continues to have the deleterious effects in our ordinary existence. And so better to have food that isn't mixed with any poison, better to have practice that isn't mixed with delusion. And then we have our
돈기
final,
덴젤라 마리파제기오로와.
basically
베테리
believing that it's true.
냠랭
That's
그런-
ignorance. That's non-recognition of true nature. And then in practice, we don't want to be perpetuating that.
I don't know. The truth is really, really very weird words.
Inherently true. Would you rather I say just meba, non-existent? 네.
It's okay.
So anyhow, then we have our excellent conclusion, which is the practice of dedicating the merit to the welfare of all sentient beings. And this has its own also purpose in that we may have engaged in just a single action, but when we dedicate it to all sentient beings infinitely, it becomes an inexhaustible sort of proliferation of virtue. And so it greatly increases our virtue. And as we're dedicating it toward their awakening, attaining the state of enlightenment, then it also has this perpetuating force that will take us towards and continue until we ourselves attain the state of awakening. And so when we dedicate it correctly, then it has the power of proliferation and transformation. Proliferation, because then when we dedicate it to infinite beings, it proliferates infinitely. It becomes much bigger. And transformation, because it transforms into the ultimate result, the state of awakening. And so that is the conclusion that we always want to bring to any positive action or practice. And so then these are called the 3 excellent principles of practice, and they are what as Longchenpa himself said, they should be cherished as the path that brings us to freedom, because they are the sort of key components of whatever practice we do that ensures that what we're doing is a component of and supporting factor of attaining the state of awakening. And so in this way, we always want to remember these 3 excellent principles of practice and to be incorporating them in every positive action that we do. And so today, I just wanted to give a reminder of their importance and how to integrate them into our practice.
오야 데니 당아주 데니 넘바 상기 빌룩라 조랑 그 셈네 용순돌 데는 상기 담바 인제 상기 나와 상기 비추데 무더 깊이거니 조 셈들이 탑람 짱짱더 숑오레 무스 셈들이 탑 상기 당 샹추 생활남 비 송와당네 깊이거니 경네 셈들이 탑만보 셰크요레 셈들이 탑만보 송크요레 깊이거니 셰크요레 깊이톤데 가레레 이제나네 왜나더니 상기가 상기 좀단디 더 샹가지라네 추 타카르도 추송나 돈도 문겨나요 데니 콘초당 냠도 제모제야당 데니 콘초당 냠도 데 조보셰야당 데라소바당 영나 돈로 데덕 탐식기 돈도 몰름다 보송은 거야 당은 드스트야 라소바 탐식 짓비거니 경는 타르트나 그미율 강레제나네 콘초양 타르트나 탐치트 다 류 만 점밥신도 대 건축섬당 찾니네 대니름 기름기 타라양 딱 빠지 톱로 로와 그 쳇도는 대 무도 깊이거니 탑히 남바나 족바마 보지 다 셰크요레 어떤 일이 대니 샘들이 탑제니 뜻케랑 돌아제켜거든 아주 개와 때도 탐치 때는 영이 영도 개와 낚시긴 장 샘거나 니마 레리비전도 인칭만이 쿠슌장이 도도 마탑나 니마 레리비전도 대랑 그강 히히요피 개와 때 영이 영도 샘나는 리워셋 대스타트 식거래 Deni katsang gongdu juba namjin de nga zu zewa jiba de yan semchin namla semchin yit dong wi jiba yit dong wi zewa zea de dang na deni nyangje dang na shangchi tomdo ko da hirki zokshang la mi bi lo o de cho chatsang de de shangchi ko semze yore de 탐치 dang 당연 전 dang 상통 그 hirp 탐치 de yang de gonggo yore 디 겸천징이 겨랑 돌아 제가 오라나 소수 대턴 가능이나 턴 용용 잡나 약보요래 턴 가능라 냠냄시나 나명 메빠나 턴 가능라 약후래 마탑 나영은 대니 턴섬 가능이까 비엔나요 아다 자년로도 쇼름 남지 강급가 비엔나요 냠는 대동 때 맙짓바 잠바당 희빈당 와이츠 기고니 영니요도 종니로와다 하장가 침보래 Jimson Conre Zenane Chitam Rank Sem Kanala gave it top tamchi Jeche Ronane, De Tamki Sim Dinank Yundan Cher Roatane, Sim the top chimbo, Chekni gave Shulan Royate, Hajan Yakpo Rini Rank Semte, Yoni Risona, Mergeva when Andochak Control Nargen Traktok Dunzen, Marikpa Laspa Tamchete, Pa. 대덕 탐치 깨위 고급 자완이 님의 밥 흉용 그요래 대덕 탐치 파 딱로 그요래 너나 측에 꽃이 람나 딱세 딱로 그요래 브란로 그요래 팡로 그요래 가리 람나 라 온데 타고 직더니 착로 그요래 에제
So when we look at the Buddhist tradition, this path and practice, the principal point is to completely tame our mind. And this is, as the Buddha said, the Buddha's teaching. And that means both through direct methods and also through indirect methods. There are many different ways in which we can tame our mind. And the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas also manifested and engaged in many different ways of guiding beings who could be tamed. And sometimes it was like obvious methods, direct teaching, but there were also many indirect benefiting activities. Even, for example, the Buddha, then those beings that he was guiding, there were some that he could see if he directly just told them it's like this, if he just gave the instruction, they wouldn't be benefited by it. They wouldn't be able to internalize it in the same way. And so he might act as a friend to them, play a game with them, or do something in which then that teaching would indirectly be conveyed, but not through direct means. Or, for example, in order to benefit animals and other creatures, then one might recite special Dharani mantras and make prayers and aspirations on their behalf in order that they can eventually attain the ultimate state of freedom. And so thereby making a connection and also serving as a benefit for them to eventually, through that connection, through that link, find that path and be able to practice it. And so we have so many different ways in which then we can be benefited and in which we can benefit others as we move towards this result, beginning with having encountered the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and then gradually, step by step, in our actions, in our thoughts, and in our formal practice, moving toward finding freedom through direct methods and indirect methods. There's a vast and diverse approach that provides us with many different avenues, all of which the purpose is are methods for taming our mind. And we can do this in many different ways. We can engage in positive actions with that purpose in a great kind of variety and with great creativity. It doesn't mean that the only thing that we should do to be a practitioner is sit on our cushion. But even a single positive thought, when brought to this process, blending even one Dharma thought with our mind, blending just one principle with our mind as we're going through our daily activities, can be of benefit. Yesterday, you may recall, I spoke about that, the term tsewa, more kind of mundane love, the love where we care for someone, where we just simply care for them. We feel a warmth and care for them. And then from that, then we have compassion. And then that is a springboard in which we can feel fully compassionate for them. And then we can have the second aspect of bodhicitta, the wisdom that wants to attain the state of purification and realization of Buddhahood, the state of perfection, in order to benefit them. And so in this way, then we have bodhicitta, we have all the trainings in bodhicitta, and the trainings in meditation, samadhis, and the trainings in the profound insights, the wisdom insights of vipassana. And the reason why taking time out of our day in which we allocate a specific period of time, no matter the length, in which then we devote ourselves to focusing on any one of these principles, these qualities that we're cultivating, is because during that time, we aren't then focusing on other things. The level of distraction is mitigated. And so it enables us to really sort of deeply blend with that. So of course, when we can do formal practice, that's always going to be the best. But when we can't, and at any time that we aren't, the informal practice is also of utmost important, that we don't forget that practice, that whatever that quality is, that we have the mindfulness that's remembering it, that we have the vigilance checking for it, the carefulness over all these three qualities, and that we're constantly trying to harbor, to hold, and to nourish that quality in our mind, blending it with whatever experiences we're encountering it, bringing it to bear on whatever we're doing throughout the day. And essentially what we're doing is increasing the force of virtue, of the positive qualities of mind. And by doing so, in increasing their force, then they begin to become stronger and stronger, and they begin to become the predominant influence in our mind. And our mind turns more and more towards that positive angle. And so we're blending our mind with that positive, those positive qualities. And we want to just continue to increase those positive qualities within ourselves, while simultaneously reducing, through these same methods, we're reducing those negative thoughts and emotions, the ignorance and jealousy and pride and anger and desire and so forth. And so those are what we want to, through the tools that we're implementing, then whether formally or informally, be applying to our mind. And so those are being, we could say, purified. Those are being, we could say, eliminated. They're being removed. We're being freed from those. And so that is taking place, the increase of our positive potentials and insights, the decrease of the negativity is most important. Also.
Oh yeah, Denny Tangazu Dere Karsongi Kenozola Yubanang Bin Matu Semnang La Chu de Yang Yang the Dambi Chu de Sem Kanala Yang Yang the Gomeatang Denny Mergewa Sem de Tamche de Parfana Nipper de Denny Fan Tabroa Chictane Denny Nyangje Lasopi Gavi Chu Tamchete Gechu Tamchete Gomperta Tame Pivar the one in Pedro Gray and Katon Kerozola Juin 디 김친데 강에 전한더니 남마 실동경이 향소라 셋용다 다만 보셈라 종구요 말에 되는데 하장가 첨보리 러나 소수 셈나라 되니 추드비야 땅나 되니 머게비 셈 탐체 풍야데 쪼바케어 샤비 쳇도 메도 모노 와치게 디 김친 히야데 김친 강에 전한은 되니 게와 탐체때 공이 공동 페드로한테 땐 담보요래 이제 직접 점선 왜나 형제 따고 직랑이 삼모다 다 형제 봄난 탐에 밤펜도 어터 삼나네 형제라 땐 담보요래 더당 직치 대비신도는 형제 있나네 곰송나 곰방 탐에 비와도 지점 곰나 대발김 페드로와 요비 추니 전직이 코랑 등하주 하고 그래 코랑 영리형 또 페드로비 추니 전직인 바 누구 추니 직비 접거리다 내 따오지 코랑 쳐요래 다 대제나 땐 담바다네 곰방은 그 차버던 견도 와지 그래 제난 디김스는 님시요래 그냥 소라 다 당오더니 곰방은 그 차버던 말에 땐 담바제나 가래 그돈 레제나는 니는 kena tola jumion dershig nyampo zate semchen tamski semki ramjin yeni deni semki khidalane ngatsu semki chunit dershig nyampo zajik deni yeni tagba yimbi ramjin ke semki chunit tagba chik churku zajik jugores di churku khidelane rang tomba nittan oxarwa zamji main pan di oxarwi zena telane namba kuntang dambi yondan yore oya teni yondan tamchetta mjonong kutsurki yore mjonong kutsurki yore se tipshena yondan tamche saun kutsurki yore zena yang ndikre tarta munjur kutsurki yomara 옛날 깬동 차피니 감나네 디더니 연던 그 차탐체도 사크요레스 왜나 형제 본비니 감나 형제 사분 요랭아서 왜나 샤당 ረતቅላሶ바 흔도 니정더니 형제 맹칸 그 딱당 즈당 돈당 젤라소바 던디 그 짠선 두 딱도 셈신 손큰 젠간다 뭐였난 잠불랑라 마롱 위뭐 Delir dugme mayona kontoyan kap ngarela semchin rere ke togla kontu yang semna la tsewa ta nyang je yong ya yore ti sem ke nam tok chi konto kharia dwa o te koran gum gamni yong yo mare yena hanki ke tsirki te ta u sawin chi yo pi gemsal la te ni yong yo okay 돌랑이 가르제 교제나는 때다우 게비 연단 탐셰때 나투 셈기 시들라네 사운기 철기 요레스 뜻된 담보레스 데니 땐 머탄바 요레즈네 요레 회나 나투 치치 꼬르나네 치차오 나투 치차오 조르와 때 치꼴위니 갑텔란 치 치차와 임바데 나츠레와라 인런 와르던 독거 이나 삼나 타와니닌 독거마 gemsen 강레제나 나츠 탑라 치꼴위니 감나네 땐 담보 요마레 gemsen 강레제나네 치꼴위니 갑텔라 치차와데 강삼칠라 치차와 메도 그래 gemsen 강레제나네 차위 땐 치레데 치땐 담보 요마레 gemsen 강레 꼴위니 감나네 치감로 요리 오야 치감니는 타마치 메퍼존도 하다 직 yana 메당 트라드로비니 갑나 추차와 트라니 치토모 치도요 뜻된 담보 요 말에제 회나 땐단 머stan제데 텐디나오 직제기오레 오야 나투 녀제데 땐 담보 요레 데이터오데 남양 코랑 그 지티티 담보데 남양 메드마트 파치 텐디치기오레스 오야 데니 곰방은 그 페드로와데 롱후금 페드로와제데 가리레제나네 데니 녀제 지점 코랑 곰나 대점기 코랑 페드롱칸 강참직라 곰바 mapchu par kyodo wini kapte la khwen na nyang je gum ni sem la lo mapchu par nyang ji ngong de kyodo wa yore sem teni zonte rang khu phet no ya ma to koma yo ma koram phet do chuni chen ji re khwen na teni mem pher khan chi yo je na yo re khwen na chu nda ching phang ji na nam kala nda khwen na mem da phang na yang de nda ji ke nda phang na yin na yang da te ta wi na koram yung ni yang to kom ro ni ro koram ku khuk yang ni yang to ro ga re na cha wa ni ro ma re ka re je na ne koram mu chi ke nu ba ta mem da phang na mem di chur khor ke nu ba ke phang yo re cha ke chi ke nu stop ke to ke phang yin na di nu stop la cha yo re okay chi tam pen yo na di pen khuk za so na ta ni thang la lo ro ma to mo koram thang la mo long ni ro no kan chi yo ma re koran yang ni yang de ro du na pen na nga chu mo chi dang na nam kha la dang so na dang wo koran hu ka che yo na di chat zong yo ro ba hu ke chi zam dang yo na ta nga chu meter tuk da wo chi dang dong de wa ka ki den da wo dang kan zam la olympic ke che mo ka lan do ga yen na ta me pi war to dang ro thok yo ma gemsen kan re ze na ne koran dang char wi ji la ne lu bo ti koran ke de di phi ni ro du kan chi yin na ngoni hali barang wo jing ro tap kare yi pe tagrang bo chig lan ro tap kare wa yin na koran khuk chi kore tang bo lu gu nu khuk de chat tang chi bare okay ti gri yore ti gri yore ti wa chet yore wa te koran je jam phang ta wona te ma tong ro tap ka mar ma so dang tap ka mar wa nyo ji ze te kom so na ti wa che shong yo mar koran rang khuk ko koran yang ni yang to kom rom kan chi ka te komba chitam kom so na koran ta me ka war te ru tham kan chi oye tish ken na nga chu yang nyam nim she pi ka la rang ka gel la ta pa chi ken na nyang je chi ken na sham ba chi ken na ta ma chi ke so na hirap chi ken na de ta u lam ta chu gu yon dan se okay lam ku ta chu gu yon dan de ta tham che ka sa un de de lan do ona de ta u sa un ta za wa ni ni me per zo don don kan ka nyem bo chi yo re na de ge wa de so za wa ni ni yo ma 당아 주자와 대토거리 그냥 주 대하고 그래. 디 게위 사원 대초 샘 그시라 요러와. 뜸메 프로존 칸치가 님보 요르는 요 말. 하. 어나 마릭 바당 콩토당 노책당 예당 라속비 사원 공지 토라 요래. 저봐. 땡아 주 영니 영도 곰발라 땐니네 코는 공기 요래 할리파마 보곰로야 요래. 옛나 텔랍 땐니네 Then nga chu workshop dar ma thap pa da wo chi yong hyo pa te hwen na kyan zu computer sam lo thong da computer yod ni lo ma bo ma re nga chu technology computer yen na ma tham che capture ma thap pa da wo ko workshop zu sak do wa tu chu thong thong na nga chu zu song de kare re ze na workshop gongji kam na jig yo pi gem chen ji workshop tam bo shik ni na then in the capture ma thap pa yong yo wa 대 남신 뉴모바 탐시 대안에 나주 워크숍들이 간 밥식이오래 대라 때니 리그 워크숍이 아마 법식오래 생각합니다 더 공식 감납식이오래 so 다케랑 다 공식 감라요 비 워크숍 때도 디 사원 머게위 사원 탐시 때 식도 그냥 딱 놓기오래 대니 냠랭 것도 그 히럽 그 마릭 바 짜와 탐시 바 탐시 메프르조도 그 히럽 okay chu tham chi ki ni lu to bi hirap di koran zamet zo to ko zawa ni fang to ko marik pa zawa ni fang tap so na teni tela tembe ne nyumo pa ta ne li tham che te zawa ni nga chu ki tang kap ta to 옛날양 개비 추탐체 짜와 방동 간치 요 말. 님보직. 공페르튼 로야리 대마차 토에나 히럽 나오 옛날 돈이 똑 비블로 옛날 야후르와 담체 그난 거 님보 야후치게. 옛날 돈이 똑바다 돈이 녀지 녀보전 손이 지점 돈이 똑나 되니 다빠당 당엔전당 히럽당 녀르제당 샹칩고 셈당 대 탐치트 공페르 로야 막 똑고마 코송 가르바요 말. 가라메 파마자 또 공페르 로브지크요 잠바. 오케이 딥시나랑 그 컨셉트 셈 가능라 게비 추탐체데. 다르마 오예 곰나 더 곰름 진도 펑샤 양펑 로크요 바데 하고군도와 다 제와테 제점 곰나 제와테 흑체르 체르 로비 갑라 양게 똑똑 컨트롤 당 착똑 소메도요 비겜슨 때레 어떤 일이스 다 티콜라 하자마 보샤 연둑 그 옛날 다 때랑 때자마 또 두초 요 말이 때라 비적인 칼레 샤 디오마 온바나 I love it 나 샤야 페가게 독테토 카레지는 리타오 피카블랑이 캐랑 좀 대초람나 시타 고구마는 디지코나요 샘노 잠문로 톱까마는 다스타 캐랑 좀 멍보랑 이런거 추장는 히뉴레 다합샤나 자브르코 톱거요레 시타 추된데리레다 골룩만다와 멍보요레 탐치 그 찍나오 인가마르 잡 mazab 그 차퍼 할리 바요레 니 추직 샤지나요 라나 소수 고추르 카카고 그래 잡 mazab 카카요레 when当把这个娘接下那，这怎么也不下那样，这个下楼道嘛，都我们现在弄怎么干嘛的？因那有人我老用是用跟这个下那，咱们就过头可以的，过吧？问题的喂。就这么一点儿。
So yesterday, I spoke about how, or I mentioned that when we familiarize, meaning when we practice the sublime Dharma over and over, blending it with our mind, that what happens is the negative or non-virtuous factors are being eliminated more and more, and that total elimination is possible, while positive factors or qualities such as compassion and so forth, those can increase incrementally but also infinitely. They have an infinite potential for increase. And yesterday I said that today I would speak about why that is the case. And so I know that I've spoken on this before, the reasons why our positive potentials have an infinite capacity to expand while our negative afflictive factors can be eliminated. They are eliminable. And I think maybe some of you don't remember that, but I will mention it again here. When we practice the Dharma, then we are effectively eliminating all of the negative and non-virtuous mental states and their subsequent actions. And it's important to understand how that's possible and how then the positive qualities have that infinite potential to grow and how that's possible. Because as we understand that, then we can be more sort of inclined to do it. So if we first look at our positive potentials, or we could say virtue, the positive qualities within us have this infinite potential for growth. And the reason for that is that their basis, their support, is stable. So if we, for instance, meditate on compassion, the potential for that compassion to grow is infinite. It has an endless potential of growth. And this is because its basis is stable. So that means that the more that we deepen compassion, it doesn't have a limit as to how compassionate we can become. It's limitless. And the more that we build the habit for it, the more that habit grows. And eventually, the more compassionate our mind is, when we build a habit for compassion, it means our mind becomes compassionate, that it itself is compassionate, that eventually then it continues to simply grow on its own. It just continues to naturally expand or increase. And this has to do with the logic of the way things are. And so there are two reasons why the basis for this quality are one, stable, and two, that it can increase immeasurably. In terms of the stable basis, then, as I've mentioned to you on prior occasions, that its basis is the nature of our mind, what we call Buddha nature. And so that is the nature of every sentient being's mind. It's the fundamental nature of our mind. And since it is our mind's true nature, then, and that when we say Buddha nature, the nature of mind, it is the domain of complete purity, what's called Dharmakaya, the absolute dimension. It is ultimately completely pure. And while it is pure, while we talk about this fundamental nature being called Dharmakaya, the absolute purity, it's pure, and at the same time, it is clear luminosity. It has this luminous, very present potential for all positive qualities. So we could say the potential for the growth and infinite expansion of our positive qualities resides within our mind, within the nature of our mind. Like seeds, there's the potential for all positive qualities to be fully and completely present to an infinite extent. Only right now it's like seeds in that it isn't evident. So that potential is there, but the actual qualities are not perceived, are not directly experienced by us. Then when we encounter the correct conditions, that fosters or allows those seed potentials to grow, to begin to increase and expand in terms of becoming apparent and experienced by us. So, for example, the seed potential for immeasurable compassion is present within us. And then when we meditate, when we engage in the correct techniques that are the conditions that will enable that to become evident, then it will expand and grow, and we will experience a more and more compassionate mind. And every living being has that seed potential for that sort of compassionate, caring sense. There's no one who literally has zero, not even wild animals, not even animals of prey, such as tigers or lions and so forth. All of them have that potential within them. Even a serial murderer, a person who's engaging in an enormous amount of harm, still has somewhere in them in which there's something or someone, some living being that they care about, that they love or feel compassion for. And so, no matter how violent a being may be, that potential still shines through, even if it's in a very limited way, even if it's just towards a tiny number of beings or one other person. The potential for that, we wouldn't say comes through cultivation. It's not, it doesn't come through meditation. It simply expresses itself to some extent in that being because it is innate to them. It's innate. It's already there. The potential resides within them. And so then it will be expressed, even if on a very minor, even if to a very minor degree. And so all positive qualities, we could say all virtues, all positive qualities, the potential is present within the nature of the mind for each and every one of us. And the nature of mind is stable, meaning it's always present. Where our mind is, its nature is. And so then the nature of mind is the stability, the stable basis for positive qualities. And so since the potential resides there, since it's like there's a seed potential there, although it may not be evident to us to varying extents, it resides within us. If the basis weren't stable, then we wouldn't have that sort of infinite potential. So, for example, a non-stable basis would be something like boiling water. Sometimes we wish we could keep water hot for a very long time, but we're very limited in that because there is a lack of a stable basis on several levels. One of the lack of stable basis is if we keep applying the heat, such as the fire, to the water, especially at the level of boiling, the water will evaporate and eventually dry up. So there isn't a stable basis. So the basis for hot water is the water, and so but it will dry up. So then it isn't a stable basis, and then eventually then there won't be any more hot water because it's finished. Or if the water, which again is the basis for hot water, if it's removed from the flame, once it's separated from the heat, then it very quickly cools down. It doesn't just stay hot. So in either case, the water is not a stable basis. And so we're limited in terms of what we can do for heating water and keeping it hot and so forth. It has a sort of a limitation. Whereas compassion's basis is the nature of our mind, which is stable and constant. And so that it's that ground of being, the very nature, the fundamental nature of our mind itself, and so then its basis is stable, and so it has then the potential to be cultivated and to grow immeasurably. There's a point also with any of these qualities, such as compassion, where we develop it and we develop it, and then our mind becomes so naturally compassionate that the compassion just continues to grow on its own, even without further methods. And so then, and that compassion then has an infinite scope. It's not like it's limited to how compassionate we can be. And so there's a point at which when the practice has reached the point where compassion is uncontrived, it means our mind is simply compassionate. And from then on, it will just naturally grow and expand within us. And so it has a stable basis. That was the first thing we were looking at. And now we're looking at its capacity to expand infinitely or immeasurably. So once, like, if we familiarize with compassion, and eventually we become compassionate, our mind becomes that quality, then it will just naturally continue to increase and increase immeasurably. And when we look at other things in terms of their increase or how far they can go, then they are limited. Take, for example, shooting an arrow or shooting a gun. The bullet that is shot or the arrow that is shot, once it's going, it's moving, it's propelling forward, it has a limit as to how far it will go before it stops. And so that limit is based on, it could be, in the case of an arrow, both the construction of the bow and also the strength of the human. In the case of the gun, it might be the construction of the mechanism. But the propulsion, based on the strength of the one who is firing that weapon and the mechanism of the weapon itself, then that has a limit. And so it can only go so far. It can only travel it has a limited sort of distance. And based on those propulsion factors, that's how far it will go. And then the energy to keep going exhausts and it falls or it stops. And so it's not as if it's sort of self-propelling, like once it gets going, then it can just keep going forever onward. It will eventually fall. Or if we look at the capacity to jump, and so depending on our species, for example, as humans, we can jump, but there's a measure to how far we can jump. For example, there are jumping competitions in the Olympics, and based on the person's strength and size and various factors, then when they jump, perhaps they could jump as many as 6 or perhaps it's at 7 meters, but there is a limit. It's not limitless how far a human being can jump. And so even if they're the best jumper, there is a point at which they haven't jumped past that certain measurement. It's not an immeasurable. So the mind, of course, wants to jump as far as it possibly can. So when they're jumping, the mind is thinking farther. But the body has a limited force, propelling force that it's dependent upon, that limits how far it can go, the length that it can go. And so it is not self-propelling. And so compassion, on the other hand, when we generate it in our mind, then actually the more habit we have, the more habit it builds. And so it's almost like self-perpetuating. There's a point where then the more that we habituate toward it, it becomes our mind's way of being, the bigger and farther it can go. So it has a stable basis, and then it has an infinite potential for growth, for how far it can expand. And there will be a point at which we don't have to meditate on it at all. We've reached the completion of the need to meditate on compassion. And that is a point where our mind simply is compassionate, where its whole essence is fully
Namyon
imbued with
ngirya
that,
me,
and there's
sem
never
teri.
a time where
Ken
we're not
kangdong thamen
responding
ngirgi
with
me,
compassion.
jisem.
Regardless of the conditions, there's never a justification or reason why compassion isn't there. Like, for example, gold, it goes through that. We purify all the other factors out of it, the earth and metals and alloy, whatever it is. And then eventually, there's a point where after total purification process, then the gold is just pure gold. And then it no longer can be tarnished. Like, for example, like copper gets tarnished. And so gold, if it's truly pure gold, gets to a point where when it's only gold, it's untarnishable.
Okay, Dharma
the Dharma like that, when we habituate to it, when it becomes the mind's habit, the way the mind is, then it becomes this uncontrived sort of growing force. So bodhisattvas have already realized that level of their mind. They've become the embodiment of those qualities. And that's why from then on, there's only forward growth of qualities that leads them to then the state of realization. At the point of Buddhahood, then there are only positive qualities in their sort of infinite extent and no flaws whatsoever. Simply the presence of those qualities in entirety. And when we call it a name, for example, the term that's been applied to describe that is that that the Buddha's qualities are the three kayas.
Okay, so
every day that whatever virtue, meaning whatever quality of the Dharma that we've studied and we've understood, that we practice it every day, that we build a habit in our mind for bringing it to mind again and again, over and over. We need to habituate toward it. If we don't, just knowing about it doesn't help you. See, you can look. Just having heard about one of these qualities, how does that help you? Not much help. Now you have to do the work in your mind. You have to build the habit. You have to blend it with your mind. You have to make it yours. Then it will become a remedy to your afflictions and suffering. And then your mind will become positive. Your mind will change. Then your mind is changed. So when we look at like, for example, how far something can go, which is analogous to the growth of a positive quality on a physical level, like our body and so forth, or an arrow that then depending on the mechanisms propelling them and the force and the strength and all of the sort of various factors, then they have a limit as to how far they go. But these positive qualities are such that they are, once they have become our habit.
My tea is getting colder. This morning is hot. I wish they keep going forever. Okay, the tea is hot. But it's leaving because of the support. The foundation is unstable of the heat. Hot. Tea hot. You understand?
So the difference between these sort of physical objects and so forth and the positive qualities in our mind, such as compassion, is that our mind does not have, these positive qualities do not have a limit. They can basically, as much as we habituate to them, that much they will grow. We have an infinite potential in their regards. And so that's why we practice, because we're building a habit in that quality using certain methods that actually generate that quality in our mind. And whatever quality it is that arises, perhaps we have faith, perhaps we have love and kindness, or we generate compassion, or we generate wisdom. All of those are the qualities of the path. And the potential for them and why the methods work when we apply them is that the potential for all of these qualities already are present within ourselves. So we just need the conditions like a practice or a method to increase and make them more evident within ourselves. And then the extent to which they can be cultivated is immeasurable. And so when we look at these, furthermore, because they are, the potential is present within our nature of mind. What that means is that these qualities can't ever be fully, I'm going to use this word, but it's not quite the right word in this context. It works in Tibetan. Can't be remedied. Remedied meaning obliterated or just gotten rid of. And so in the case of our roots of virtue, the positive qualities in our mind, we can't actually fully remedy them in the sense of get rid of them or eliminate them in entirety. That's impossible because they are present as the innate potentials of the nature of our mind. So even if certain factors cause us to not experience them, their seed potential is still within us, is still present. Whereas when we look at the other factors, such as non-recognition of true nature, ignorance, such as anger, jealousy, desire, pride, their basis is unstable because their basis is not the nature of our mind. It's the ground of ordinary consciousness. And then be so that means that their seed potentials are eliminable. We can apply a remedy and completely free ourselves from them, literally be freed from them. However, they may appear to be stable and they may appear to be very strong because of our long-term habituation to them. And so it may appear challenging to remedy them because of how strong they are. Just think of any habit, like the habit these days that we modern people have to look at screens, our devices, or she said computers, but basically our devices. And we have now built a seemingly strong habit to constantly be looking at our various devices. And we did so, if you think about it, in an extremely short period of time. It hasn't been that long that we've had this technology. And so we built this habit in the ground of the ground of our ordinary kind of all ground consciousness. And so it seems like it's very difficult to give up or to separate ourselves from screens. However, even as strong as the habit is, it is completely doable. So similarly, our disturbing emotions have this very strong habit. So we keep coming back to them. We keep coming back to them. It's just like that. That's what a habit is. You keep coming back to it. And it's a very strongly ingrained habit in our mind. But that doesn't mean that it can't be changed. It just means, and so its base is such that it's unstable, the ground of ordinary consciousness. They can be fully and completely removed. Also, we can remedy them, that we can apply opposite factors that not only temporarily remedy their strength and effect in our experience, but we can actually fully eliminate them from our experience with wisdom, because the wisdom that knows true nature completely uproots the very source upon which our mind would be disturbed. These mental afflictions come. And so when we've fully realized the true nature of all phenomena, then they are gone in entirety. They've been completely uprooted. And so down to the level of a non-recognition of true nature, ignorance, that is fully eliminated when we recognize and realize true nature. So since that is the kind of that ground of ordinary experience is that non-recognition, it is not a stable basis for all of the afflictions. Our disturbing emotions and our karma have an unstable basis, and we can be completely freed from them. Whereas our positive qualities, their basis is the actual nature of mind. And so their basis is stable. The potential to increase is immeasurable. And especially then when we have the wisdom, the prajna that realizes true nature, that realizes emptiness, for example, that is at the core of all. For example, emptiness's essence is compassion, which is to say that the more that we have the insight, the more that qualities such as compassion will grow and have an immeasurable room for growth. All of our positive qualities of faith, compassion, bodhicitta, love, patient forbearance, and so forth, those don't contradict each other. They don't counteract each other. They're all mutually supporting. And the more of any of them that we have, the more that we have of all of them. And so when we practice the Dharma, we are focusing on those positive potentials, those qualities that are innate to us, and using methods, creating the conditions to make those evident to us, to sort of awaken to them, and in building habits, in having them. As those habits grow, that expands. Our mind becomes more and more the embodiment of these qualities. Literally, our mind is those qualities. And that's what the methods of the Dharma practice are for. Whereas the mental afflictions and negative factors lack that stable basis and can be fully remedied, which is what our practice is doing. It's antidoting, it's counteracting those factors of anger and envy and so forth. And so this is important to understand, and it's something that I really am inspired to speak about, because I feel like there's a great value. The more that we can understand this, the more that we can be inspired to engage in the process. But as far as today's teaching goes, I'll have to stop here. But in the future, I'd like to give more extensive teaching on this because I love it, Rinpoche said. And I'm very happy to have at least been able to speak about this a little bit today. I think that well, part of the reason is that many of you have been studying the Dharma now for many years. And so this is something that is more easy to understand when we have a little bit more knowledge. If we're new to the Dharma, it might be a little bit harder to comprehend, or even if we think we understand it, we could be understanding it we're not, but there's the potential to understand it on a much more profound level. And so since many of you have had now years of experience of the Dharma, then you're going to be understanding this on a much more profound level. It will have more of an impact for you. So it's good to know that when we hear a teaching, we're not all hearing it in the same way, and we're not all hearing it at the same level. And so I may give a teaching and someone may appreciate it, while someone else, because of their previous experience and practice, may have this profound and deep insight that comes from that. And so we're all hearing it at different levels of profundity, and that has to do with how much we previously studied and practiced. For example, I could be giving a teaching on compassion, and someone that's new may very well be inspired and interested, but someone who is a long-time genuine practitioner of mind training could have an extremely profound insight on that same teaching. And so we're all understanding things at different levels. And so that's it for this discussion now, so that we can continue with the main topic this weekend. Awesome.
When the long time ago, Buddha Shakyamuni, he was taught Dharma, the meaning of the heart essence. Independent mantra, Ye Dharma Hetrabawa. Shariputra got a very, very deep meaning. And then Shariputra's Vajra brother Mongol got a different way, not that deep. And then both of them very, very smart. But then other people's, the students didn't get that much deep. And slowly, slowly they understood this study and that mantra's meaning. And then they got more and more. So like that, then you never know how much you get from one Dharma teaching. Depend up to you. That's up to you. That is up to you. Up to you. Yeah, that is up to you. Wow. That is up to you. Very, very important. Oh yeah, teni ta trambani verja pabje. Mapshapi kabre telane karsangi kontu ju pabjento. Teni trambani verja patelane trambani verja pi sanit. Tane trambani verja pi datun nitsik tang. Tebjento trambani verja pi mugir. Teni trambani verja pi yewa. Teni trambani verja pi nyamlen. Chirtar nyams lemba. Chirtar nyams lensur. Tane teni trambani verja pi payim shadjoni nanga. Teni tangatsu te trambani verja pi nyamlen te shadkyo pi kap tangatsu tela yore. Ta teni karsan kondu jupa namjende trambani verja pa te zo trambani verja pa nyamlen ngo de hirp yengu kare. Teni te tramba chokyo pare mindfulness ti chokre. Te ta uteni tramba tang hirp tang tramba zochewa chokyo pa teni chigre. O tipshana te teni chigre ze ta tapshakyo re. Teni tandi ni kapso nyamlen shepi ni kap tela ne karsan kondu jupa namjende teni shi namba la hirp ka shi namba nyamlen shepa tang ne teni shepchak Bramson 그 namba nyamlen shepa te ni ore ze karsangi keso te shadien ta te teni shepchak re lamderwa yinna kare reze na shirtang ngatsu re ni wantu samlo tangna ngatsu karsang lu tramba nyer pas teni tsora tramba nyer pas teni lu tsor teni sem tramba nyer pa chu tramba nyer pa chi tertawu tramba nyer je sherwa tramba nyer je ti nani lu tramba nyer la samlo tangna ta lu ngatsu teni diki dupi lu tang mab dupi lu tang janki lu te tertawu shi lu tang nank lu tang niki lu te teni ke karsang sam shek songa te cho kang yin na yang te tok la kya chu ma bo shi yore teni ti korang ka ni lu reality ze te korang ka kya chu ma bo shi yore wa yin na teni zo wo ten di ni kap so khwer na karsang yi tang bo lu de nga chu samar zamba 그 님보 데라 실당 먹상아 구미야 요래다 다때 아메리카라 케나초 빼 마트비 케나초 메이크업 마보 시 차리오 지레 단다 루포라 테니티 gemsanki 케나초 메이크업 때 돈메 파랭이 제게만 so tomare 제나 고르담 토야 지요레 티 고니 테니 먹상위 님보라 tomab gum제나요 데크레 회나 tomayim batang ta te dirt chapate so tomayim ba lil ha wonda ko top kyore Jambi Kachu Mambo Gumia Yorti Tokla, Lugu Tokla, Gumia Yorwa, Yena, Tomate, Tomo Chick the Terry is it, and in Namba, the Koran Tamaimba number in Kale Kale, Jamba Yam to Shatu, Tamaimba, Lu Tomaimba. Te Someone in the Binyambo, the Chazan Kunyambo, Carson Jupanam Terry, Ranlujan Lutamchi Chazan Kunyambo. Deni nipa the Congrezena, Sorware, Sorwate, Teni Zonte Sorwa, Dungalwaji, but the Sorwatom Derkiori. The shape of Sorwatom Derva Yorova. Natu Dungar love Deverma Pochi, Zenkio Payim Bibsherna, Korangla, Sorwalang Chachu Mambo Yore, the Yenaya, Chapertino Nikana, Korang Gandigni Caps Soratambanya Japi, Rava. Ramsan Kenyamlen ter Mignam ter Mikpina, Mignam the Carrezena, to Mignam the Carrezena, Teni when suffering each other did. Teni Natsu Semtambani Japi, Romir the same Rava. Yena Semna, young Chachu Mambuch Yorba, Korang reality, Korang Mambuch Yore.
Features.
Reality is better. Features. Mambo yopi nani. When a kala chicken na yang tino lang ngarmo yore, kirmo yore, yung ngarmo yore, kang yin na yang, yin na zoche hu karin rawo yin pati yang yorwa. Te namshin ke tening indi ni kapsha kiyo pati, kare re zena na ta korang tsorwa yin na, o semre, karsangi dak lapsong ta. Tata parche tening item gornga alok jav yin sare, karsan tiji alok jav yin sare, teni semla, 딱반 전바데 때려. 샘라 땅전 요래. 얘는 샘 되니 영 코랑 차추 mambo 요피 나니는 되니 머딱 비차다. 냠낸 거 미여도 샘 잠반이 버저피 얼길 거 미여도 때려. 되니 추 잠반이 저거 갑라는 dak dentruptan 전바데 조 때려. 됐다오래. 대초 레레 라는 Koran Tamba Never Japi, Migi or Watadangi, Lu Tor Sem choose. Lu Tor Sem choose. In Tibet, we have very so fast, short names, so easily to say it. Lu Tor Sem choose. That's already really Koran so Tamderiopi, Kachu Teniore. Yenayang, Tatani Kachu. Jitayang tetak tamchek talk to yours in the yore tani when a jambak some yopate, she nabare. So she nabazena sharing the chikla. When a lutambanya japayena, Koran tama imbate, Koran gerke, chachu mixer kitchip jeriore. Yenayang, tani jambaka, tani dungarwatan, dagme patang. Ma tani dungar watang mertak patang dagme pate teso samte jamba tamchetang tomorwa deep shena tela shinyam nen zekyore tab gumna samla shepta korang mixer kinyam nem gumgore korang tinang ko rana sosu tani ramchang kinyam nen tashekare sam su tinamba tu gumkore samla tani jit Yopapshini gumgo kore, Jambaksam te antinang lago, tela, she teni nambanyamnen zekiore. Teni Sorwatabu yenana korang ke Ramsan Kenyamlen the carriers in the Dungarwarawa. Yenayo, Murtak Patang, Devjento Ma Dungarwata, Murtak Patang, Dagme Payorova.
No, wrong
That's what
sense.
The Zekyongi, Dungarwatang, then you Dungarwatang, Devjento Dungarwatang, then you Lubo la Tamayorwa, Ore, then you Tomayim Batang, Devjentone, Murtak Patang, Dagmepa. That's all Tora Korang line, Korang Kachu, Jinyam to Yamlin Yorwa, or Telapshi Nambi Yamlin Zekyore. Or Tinam Jinkarana Sosu Kachu Gana, Zambi Kachu Tetsoyang. Nyamnim sheki yodna titolam dervayore korong. Ron tem derd gorwa te korong te soyang when a lupo tavu lapsamlo lus tavu lapsamlo tonayang yesre teni korong martok pare
Shetsarson.
te korong yang ti chachu tamchidri tze kyong sa sheki yo ya charsong zena. She said I have to stop thing teni shakman tripsho.
So we have the 4 applications of mindfulness. And yesterday we looked at the definition, the semantics of the term itself, the objects of mindfulness, the different ways for classifying those, the practice of them, and then the beneficial effects and qualities. Those were categories to understand. So right now we're in the middle of the 5th of these, which is how to practice these. And so then, as I mentioned yesterday, when we look at practice, the principal factor is that there's wisdom, that there's first a knowledge about whatever it is that we're practicing on, an insight, a knowledge. And then the support is the mindfulness, which remembers that knowledge. And so our practice is really a combination of wisdom and mindfulness. And so yesterday we looked at how each of the 4 objects, which were explained, then had their own specific features that are emphasized. And so one way of practicing is with each of the 4 objects and their specific features, where you just do one quality of that object for each one. And then there was the way of practicing with the shared features, where all 4 of the qualities or attributes then are applied to each one. So if we look at the first way of practicing, where we apply one attribute that is the nature of the object to it, then we have, as you recall, the 4 objects were the application of mindfulness to the body, application of mindfulness to sensations, application of mindfulness to mind, and application of mindfulness to phenomena. So those are 4 objects that we're applying mindfulness to. So if we look at the body, then the body, again, you have to recall your notes, because then what does body mean? There's the internal body that is our own body, there are external bodies, and then there are the bodies of others that are both internal and internal to them but external to us. So all of those are covered under the word body. And then we're looking at what is its nature, and Rinpoche said, what is the reality of it, which is meaning what is a feature, the quality of it. So the specific feature or attribute that is the kind of basic reality of the object of our body is that we tend to perceive it as if it were clean or pure. And there are different meditations which we can do to overcome that false apprehension. And the name of the meditation is meditating on its impurity, or the fact that it isn't clean. Now, that kind of meditation, Rinpoche said, has to fit the culture in which it's that is practicing it. And so here in the West, you have done a very good job at putting on makeup and covering up all the uncleanliness. So while it may be effective in another culture to literally meditate on the dirtiness of bodies, in this culture, I think a more effective meditation, and that will do the same result, is that of meditating on multiplicity. And so that also is a remedy. So there are different remedies, and you can use different formats of meditation. And meditating on cleanliness would work. But today I'm going to use the meditation of multiplicity, as I think that will be the most effective remedy for you. And that is what Mipam Rinpoche taught in the wheel of
Shagum
analytical
Kolon.
meditation. And so this is a very simple meditation in which we begin to take apart the idea of body and see that it is multiple and so forth, and come to have insight about that attribute, that quality or feature of the body. And so while multiplicity can be applied to the other three applications of mindfulness, then there's an emphasis in that it's like the predominant feature of physical forms is multiplicity, and that's why this is the specific practice that applies to multiplicity and what will to the body. And when we practice that as a practice, when we actually do it, that will begin to remedy all of the different ways in which we misapprehend our body and thus have an overly intense fixation and grasping to it. And so that is the purpose of this meditation, to remedy that. The second application of mindfulness in the specific, when we're just looking at specific features of each one, the second application is for sensations. And then this one then is the meditation on the sensations of suffering, which is a remedy for our misapprehension in which we believe many things to be happiness or a source of that when it is not. And so then there is this special feature of sensations, is that its sort of dominant feature is that even all the pleasant sensations are in some way or other associated with suffering. And so we have a meditation on suffering as its specific feature. Then we come to the application of mindfulness to the mind, where the mind then is the object. And we're looking at its special feature. So the special feature, Rinpoche said, for example, then you could have a food that has several flavors in it. So legitimately, you could talk about and examine each flavor, each component of it. But there will be one flavor that's dominant, that's the sort of overwhelming flavor. And that's what each of these special features, when we speak about it specifically, are. So the specific feature of the mind, here Rinpoche said, yesterday we mixed up the features of mind and phenomena. So actually it's the opposite to what was said yesterday. The specific feature of mind is that we tend to apprehend it as being permanent or same. And so then the quality that we're recognizing in the mind is that it is impermanence. And so that is the specific meditation on mind, is of impermanence. Then we have the fourth application of mindfulness of to phenomena. And this one then is the identification, the misapprehension of self, where we believe there is a truly existing, inherently true self. And so this is the meditation on selflessness. So this way, then we can go through each of these four applications of mindfulness and take its object and then apply the specific feature that is the kind of major feature, quality or attribute of that object, of body, of sensations, of mind, and of phenomena. And that would be then of multiplicity, of suffering, of impermanence, and of selflessness. Each one we'd apply one feature to one object of meditation. Or alternately, we can apply all four of those attributes, those features, to each of the four objects. So, for example, then, and occasionally we should, it's good to sometimes meditate just on the one feature as we go through each of the object, and then sometimes on the shared features. So, for instance, the body, while its nature is a multiplicity, also we can investigate and see how it is suffering, it is impermanent, and it has no self, no identity of self. And so these then now become now we're doing a shared practice in which all attributes are meditated upon the one single object. And so sometimes then we want to do a meditation where we take each of the 4 applications of mindfulness and we look at how each of the 4 attributes apply to that one object. And so, for example, sensations, while the dominant attribute is that of suffering, then we can also apply the understanding of multiplicity, of impermanence, and of not inherently having a self or identity. And we can apply those there because those are also its attributes, its nature. So in this way, we can go through each of these then using what we call the shared features, in which we apply each attribute to it and examine to see how that those also are its nature. So,
我也对的，他对他我讲呢，你听错了，那边的是当个西南巴当，的냠는 잠반이를 지 냠는 시비니 칸나 냠는 가립시 칸도 시 남바 당 tani sheptak gerkin rangka nambate teripshini ma gongko ze tapsha kyorwa ta tinani tambo tani ngire when nga chu lupo telane gongko yewa myurmi shatsonga tani shapa namjinde tani dak lupo tang tani janki lupo tang tani ma shi lupo tang nang lupo Niki lupo te testa lupo tamshite na wampo tamshite na dirtbre. Ta teni zonte tang ngara rana sosu lupo la samlo tang na shok sam chigi te mampo kya tu kogu yore te yena ya kona ya nga tu nyamnen te ti tokla mampo shek yo mar rang lupo tang jarne. Shirtang nga to rang lupo la chagzen tang, chinzen tang, zangwarin zamba tang. Ha lipi rang lupo te testa nga tu zonghe yore. Chagzen ka dagla chakpa se tinga zu rang lupo la changzan hali pa chik tani zong yore ta tela changzan yo pi top ki dungar ma pu na to yang tani nga zo song yore di changzan tela tenni devjin to jan ki lupo la changzan ki ni yang tela yang te de testa u nga zo nyok da shong yore
Chilu.
tani di jan ki de shi lupo zena yang zugdang datang zhetang rodang raksha la sopa tam chela ne tanga chu changzen tang ne yit dongwan da wo chik sta ni yit dongwan zen khorem do na tam chet yit dukpa tendi zugda tro raksha tam chet tu tak tonga so tip shula ro khyo pate ta tang khorwa khorang ko tip shula nga so changzen gwang ko khorwa la chit ro ko ga tip shula wo tip shet na te tak tam chet te ta changzen ke si yurde 원데 타오치 teni 용요래 teni ta niki lula samlo tana majenki lubore dak tu zongwi lupo namlayan tanga to changzan pe matpi te zok tam chelang changzan chenbo chi yore ngo te ta wu teni ti changzan tam che te ne nga cho chigbar zentang ta karib shin zen khore zenana toma yimbala chigbar zen khyo mar dog dog chik tu zongni ne dog dog den tup dawo chik zongni teni tela changzhen dawo chik zongya te dok dok den chok chik tab zongni nga chu changzhen ke khiyore wherna ta di ni kap tela ne toma imbre sam ze te gum go ze te korang ka ramchang ka naba toma imba gum go ze te terewa tate gimsen gigoni tambok hirip gigoni di ni kabla lu tamba nyer jikbi hirip ze lu tamba nyer jik hirip de di korang tambo chatsang yakbo jik hagoni den gogo kyore di shena lupo oda di warta so
So now we want to look at taking this as a practice, meditating on it, and each and every factor. And we have to remember all the different parts. For example, if you're meditating on the body, you need to remember that there's the inner body, which is your own, then there's the outer body, external objects, and then there's the inner outer bodies that of others. So,
wow.
Yeah, karmanga. And so then so when we say the body, you need to remember inner, outer, and both inner and outer. That's important. for your contemplation or meditation to be complete. So you need that information. So then if we take the inner body as an example, then especially because we sort of have unmitigated attachment and desire to our body. It's just like out of control how much we grasp to it and cherish it and fixate on it and identify it with it. We have an enormous amount of attachment invested in our body. And that level of attachment and fixation is a source for a great degree of suffering. And so basically, as much of that attachment and grasping we have is as much as we suffer over the whole experience of our body. Then we have a grasping or attachment to external bodies. Remember, outer objects, forms, sounds, tastes, sense, and tactile sensations. And we have all of these desires. We see something as something that is attractive, something that's desirable, something that we want and favorable, and so forth. And when we look at all of the desire that we have and the attachment that we have for all these three categories of body, that is really what is constantly drawing us into, sort of entrapping us into cyclic existence. It's what keeps leading us into the cycle of existence, is our attachments and our desires. So we want to address, for example, how much we are constantly drawn and captivated by attractive outer objects, forms that we want and see as desirable. And then we have the third category of body, which is the external, internal body of other sentient beings. And there again, we have so much attachments to them, so many different levels of grasping and attaching to them, and so forth. So we can see that on all three levels of form, bodies, that there's enormous obsessive grasping and fixation and attachments. And when we're relating to those, that grasping and attachment is relating to the body as a whole, as if there were a singular sort of object that was singularly whatever we perceive it to be. We're not relating to those objects as a multiplicity. So we think of it as a body, whatever, inner, outer, or both. And we invest in that a truth as being existing as a singular object, which we then grasp to. So the process of meditating on multiplicity is going to begin to break down that level of singularity that we attribute to all these bodies that we're so attached to. And so the primary focus here when we're meditating on the specific quality or feature of the object, in this case the body, is that of multiplicity, coming to see that its nature is multiple, that in all levels there's a multiplicity, that seeing or insight, the knowledge of that is wisdom. It's only then that we have something to remember, to apply mindfulness to. And so the application of mindfulness to the body is the wisdom that is seeing this particular feature of it, which in this case is its specific feature, multiplicity. Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So already,
Sorry, I thought
it's already
oh, wow.
break time, lunchtime for many of you. So we will return in exactly 1.5 hours. We'll have an exact 1.5 hour break.